I've got to be bigger than life. I've got to grab you by your fucking nuts right now. Welcome back to Mr. Raider. Please, 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 people, can we stop this nonsense across this country with these demonstrations turning into something that it shouldn't have been? My goodness, George Floyd died for something better than what you are representing his death as. Okay? Look, these demonstrations were meant to be peaceful, y'all. Now look what's happening. We're turning them into something that man that died like that, now you're making it like it's not even a celebration of his life, that you're trying to make sure that he's defended. No, now you're flipping over cop cars. You're killing people for defending their businesses. I don't care what race y'all are, but please, this needs to stop. Get hold of yourselves and let's get back to where they really did it the way they did it right. Let's go all the way back to our man, Martin Luther King. That gentleman, every demonstration that he put on was peaceful. Unfortunately, at that point in time when we were growing up, the law enforcement provoked the violence, and then it turned into a demonstration because they were able to just go beat these people with clubs. We're not at that point anymore. I apologize because the sheriff of Flint, Michigan, God bless you, sir. The way you went about it when you came out with your officers and your force to go ahead and let these people protest peacefully, you actually came out and let them know, I took off my helmet. We took off our riot gear. We put down our billy clubs because we don't want this to be a protest. We want this to be a parade to celebrate this man and to show what he has actually done for this country in terms of he has made a lot of people think now of how police abuse, and I apologize, law enforcement abuse, because it's not just police officers. We have law enforcement of all kinds in this country. It is law enforcement abuse. We all know that we've been a big tinderbox lately. We have been to the point that there was going to be a spark. You can only put on so much fuel onto what this fire is going to become until one thing sparks it. Okay, the pandemic was enough to get all these people. The one spark, thank God for you, George Floyd, in that sense, and I rest your soul, my man, because you were the spark that brought focus possibly to the American people in whole, not any race, religion. I don't care if you were purple. People saw that, and guess what? When you get protests in Salt Lake City, Utah, where the last time I saw anything about Salt Lake City, Utah, protesting anybody's life, 1977, Gary Mark Gilmore. And the only reason they protested for his life, he begged for the death penalty, and they were going to put him to death by suicide squad. And guess what? They executed him with a suicide squad of guns. Now, we progress to this point, and Salt Lake protested. They turned over cop cars. They did things that I wouldn't believe they ever did. But that's not right. Excuse me, I apologize. I'm getting a little, that's not the right way to go about it, people. Okay? It needs to be peaceful. It needs to be where we are showing them, because once we become looters, vandalism, we are out there disturbing the things that shouldn't be disturbed, we're becoming a criminal, even worse than what our boy George Floyd was accused of, which was, I apologize, last podcast we talked about this, I said it was a forgery. Not true. It was supposedly passing a counterfeit $20 bill. Do you know how many of us that probably have a counterfeit $20 bill in our pockets right now? Okay, and you don't know until they scan this son of a buck, right? This man has people in his life that are NBA stars. I'm not even going to bring up their names because y'all know them. I don't need to go back to his background. Oh, and apparently, him and Officer Chavin, whatever his name is, because it's pretty sad. Thank goodness he's already apprehended. Okay? Apparently, they've had interaction in the past. So he knew this gentleman within the security realm of doing his job. Security people interact with police officers all the time. And he knew him? What, a vendetta? I don't know, but check this out. Our officer that actually was the neck pusher with his knee, that dude shouldn't have been on the force. Wow, 10 years ago this man should have been gone. If you look at his record and you see how many abuses this man has perpetrated upon anybody, and let's just go to this. I don't think it's really a racism profiling thing. I think it is
grudge,
a police profiling thing or a law enforcement profiling thing. Let's get here. Depending on your geographical location in this country, and I know y'all watch Live PD, right? Do you know what I call that program, unfortunately? Live profiling. Even white police officers are profiling white rednecks in Oklahoma, in Georgia. You go anywhere where they're in the South, and a dude driving a truck that happens to be a 1978 pickup truck and it's full of junk in the back, automatically, man, that man's getting pulled over. Do you know what? One time on live profiling, I have ever seen them pull over anybody in a nice vehicle that was of something that y'all think that we should drive. I don't know. Some people are comfortable not having a car payment, but wait a minute. Apparently for me in America, I got to have a car payment of $450 a month so the police don't pull me over. And the only time I saw on that live PD that they pulled over a gentleman in a 2017 Maxima that was black because somebody else had been talked about being in a vehicle of that vehicle. They didn't have a license plate, but they pulled that gentleman over. They ended up letting him go because they realized it wasn't the right gentleman. My point is, man, it's getting sad with law enforcement that they've over abused their authority in certain instances. Okay? This last thing that happened with our man George Floyd was the spark that lit the fireworks for America right now. It ain't a match. It's fireworks, baby. And it's happening all across our country. People are sticking up for human rights longer than I've ever seen or bigger than I've ever seen. And my favorite thing is, we got a dude out there that's giving out free hugs to everybody because he just wants people to see, man, there's a lot more to life than hating on people. But apparently social media and the way we are being generated in this last 20 years of life from 2000 till now, man, it's a bunch of haters. In social media, people are jealous of the no. Social media should have been used for a positive thing, but we're not using it for that. We are using it for the most negative thing possibly. We are destroying ourselves in this country because we are so willing to share shit that we shouldn't share, but we're so willing to desecrate people for what they do share. You want to hate on people because they're doing good? Wow. Let's hate on the people that need to be hated on, all right? Right here in my hometown, St. George, Utah, we had a bunch of young people decide that they wanted to give George Floyd a celebration and give their thoughts and be able to demonstrate on our streets peacefully, and they did. And actually, from what I see for the most part, This demonstration was very peaceful and people were very supportive. People honking, giving their support. But then again, it's who we are and it's how we are. It's apparently in the human condition that now, wait, there's got to be some haters to come out and desecrate these young people and make them feel bad that they're sticking up for their basic human rights. Not even our civil rights, our human rights. Why the hell did we have to fight for civil rights back in the day? I can't even believe it was called fighting for civil rights. Should have been fighting for our human rights and our God-given United States rights, but they called it fighting for civil rights. We're in 2020, and unfortunately, we're seeing people still fighting for civil rights. It's not right, y'all. These demonstrations need to be about peaceful demonstrations. All right, our boy in Flint, Michigan, the sheriff, and I am sorry I do not know your name. This gentleman encountered his people that were ready to demonstrate. He talked to them, let them know that yes, they laid down and they laid them, and what do you want from us? What would you like from the police? What would you like from my enforcement officers? And do you know what the crowd started chanting? Walk with us, walk with us, walk with us. Do you know what that sheriff did? He looked at him and said, let's walk. And you know, he said, we got the dogs and all my boys with us. Let's make this a celebration. Why doesn't everybody else in this country look at it like that sheriff did? Right? The law enforcement should have been those people being the ones facilitating the peacefulness of the demonstration. Now, even getting back to the looting and the vandalism, I've heard in certain cities that they have video of government vehicles going and placing bricks and rocks in front of certain places to incite these people to use those bricks and rocks to have the riot before they even had the demonstration. They want to push the rioting. It's not riots, y'all. It's demonstrations. Unfortunately, they've turned into unpeaceful demonstrations. But the mainstream media wants you to believe that we're a bunch of rioting, crazy Americans. It's not the truth. You know what the truth is? We're tired of all this suppression that we've been taking from our government, whether it be to the executive level or it be to the government level in terms of the governor, all the way down to our city councilman, to our mayor. And these people telling us what we can and can't do, who can open their business and who can't. How about our gal in Oregon that opened her barber shop? Okay? Well, they couldn't do anything about that, but then they sent OSHA on her. Okay? Being that because she has employees. Well, guess what? When you own a barber shop, you don't have one employee. You just own the business. Everybody else that works for you is a 1099. And for all you that don't know what a 1099 is, a 1099 is you're employed by yourself because I am a subcontractor. So that means I have nothing to do with that business except I rent a chair from that lady that owns the business. They sent OSHA on this lady, and then they also sent the child protective services to her house, and then gave her a $14,000 fine for just opening her doors. My point is, over government needs to be stopped. George Floyd's little spark that ignited the fireworks has made government look at things differently, but now we're still going about it in the old-fashioned way, the militia way. We're sending out the National Guard. Are you shitting me? If you watch the sheriff from Flint, Michigan, if every law enforcement officer that was in charge, every PC across this country approached the demonstrations like that man did, do you know what it would do for the relationship between the public and our law enforcement gentlemen? It would actually maybe make a bond. But we don't want that, because if there's no evil and there's no good, how the hell do you fight whatever we've been fighting our whole lives? It's like heaven and hell, right? We've been fighting that our whole lives. And maybe that needs to go away. Maybe we don't need to always have evil. Maybe we just have to get away from the evil because we're in 2020 now, people. Times have evolved. Things have changed. But please, 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 the next time you go out to demonstrate, let's keep our moral compasses intact so we know where we stand and how it should be. Thank you very much for listening to me tonight. And all I have to say is injustice anywhere equates to injustice everywhere. That's just how it goes. Injustice is injustice. Thank you again for tonight. Sheldon, as always, I appreciate you. I'm out. Enough energy, and I didn't even get in some of the other stuff, but we didn't need it. I over-prepped. I didn't even have to look at my notes. I felt it tonight. Okay, when I feel it, you see it, huh? You can feel it. Because this is what this has got to be about. See me with almost tears in my eyes? Because that's what I got to be. I got to be that emotional that when I do get into something heavy, I will have tears run down my face. Bro, I'm not going to bawl like a baby, but you'll see it. I love it. Oh, it's going to be that every day now. I don't think I can do this. I know I can.